Hey everyone, welcome to the MIA log, and in this video we are looking at the Sony Xperia Pro. Now in this video we're going to be rating the device in 10 different criterias, and this is what the criterias look like. You can pause and go through the scoring I've given it, but there will be slight changes from when I've given it those scorings, so you might want to watch along. The scoring I give it is subjective, meaning that it's from my personal experience. I'm a tech enthusiast. I love my tech. I've owned many phones. I've lost count. I've owned many cars, lost count, and I've owned many tech equipment. I've lost count. It is a very subjective rating, meaning that what I rate it may not be what you rate it, but coming from a tech enthusiast, professional, expert, this is what I'm rating it. And yeah, so you can just listen to the advice that I give, and then by all means buy it still if you want to. So starting with packaging, the device packaging, I had originally rated it a 5 because it was average. So 5 is basically, it's nothing special. It's basically what you'd get if you bought any other device. If I rate it lower than 5, then you know something's really bad or something's not good about it and it's just failed in some area. So originally I did rate it a 5. However, now I'm thinking of rating it a 3 or a 4. Let's go with 4. I'll touch on why. So the packaging, nothing special. You open the box, you're introduced with the phone normally, but I've got the phone out already. The reason I'm lowering the score is because all of this. I don't want to see, Sony, this is a message to you, a bunch of paperwork in a device where 99.9% of the people opening the device will not be reading. This will either end up in the bin or just end up back in the box. This is not needed. Please stop doing this. If anything, put a QR code in here or put a web link where people can go online and actually read the content if they want to. This is useless, pointless, and not needed. Hence why I'm rating it below the 5. You have the phone, which comes in this tray over here. I did not get a charger inside the box because I bought it used, and it seems the previous owner decided to take the charger. And then you get the USB cable here as well. So rating the packaging of the device a 4. And again, it's dropped below the average just because it comes with all this useless crap. Next area to grade is build quality. Now the build quality of this device is really good. I've actually really got to like the build quality of this. When I first got this out of the box, it was a bit slippery, I'm not gonna lie. I picked it up and then boop, slipped out of my hands. However, after my dirty hands have gone all around it and I've got all my oils from my hand onto the device, it became much nicer to hold. It feels really good, it feels solid, it is a great device. For its build quality, and I love the ridges that go around the device, and it actually adds a bit of texture to it, unlike some of the Samsung devices that I've reviewed or owned where the curvature is there and it doesn't feel as comfortable to hold. With the square edge and with the ridges placed into the device, it does feel quite nice to hold, and the build quality is very premium, hence why I'm rating it a 10. Next area of grading is FEA. FEA stands for functionality, ergonomics, and accessibility. In this area, I've rated the device a high 8. And the reason I've done that is because of all these buttons over here, which we're going to touch on in a second. At the bottom, you have a USB-C cable input for charging and whatnot. And then on this side, you have the lanyard hole, which I don't see on any phone in the current day. It's more of a 2000 thing when people used to put lanyards on their phones. And then your SIM card memory card slot over here. So I don't need a pin, which I'm going to lose, for the phone. I can simply just peel it off and get it out. Simple, easy. More phones need to have that function rather than the pin. And then at the top, you have a headphone input jack. So the reason that I'm rating it so high is because of all the functionality it has. It's beyond the average, right? So going on to this side, you've got your volume rocker, you've got your power button located over here, which is also the fingerprint scanner. you've got a circle button over here, which is actually customizable to what you want it to do. And then finally, you have your dedicated camera button. So simply press that dedicated camera button and it will launch your camera. The reason that I'm not rating it the full 10 is because that fingerprint button over here, for me, doesn't always work, right? It could be because of the size of my hand. You may have a different experience with this, but the reason I'm not rating it that highly for me personally is just because that fingerprint button's quite annoying, right? It doesn't always work. I've used devices in a similar price range that offer a much better experience when it comes to the fingerprint reader. So ergonomic design with all the buttons, great. Accessibility, I've got a headphone jack, great. And yeah, I've got a customizable button located over here. And again, accessibility, I can take out my SIM card, put a memory card in here with ease, not have to look around for my wife's earring to use the, you know, the pin part to pop out the SIM tray, or find the pin that doesn't come with the boxes anymore. Next one is focus camera. Focus, please. I was about to say thank you, but it's not focused. So the next area of rating is visual experience, but I'm going to pair this with visual and audio because they kind of go hand in hand. And I'm going to rate it very highly here because the visual experience on this device is actually great. There we go. So the visual experience on this device is actually really great.
Help me fight the injustice that was done to me.
You're not going to get the experience that I'm getting, obviously, through a camera to a screen. However, the color in the visual experience in this device is great, right? The audio that you get from this device is great. Hence why I'm going to be rating it an 8. It's going to be very hard for me to get across screen to screen the experience that you get, but it is above average and you do get a great audio experience when you're listening to it out loud. So hence why I'm rating audio and visual an 8. Moving on to the next topic of grading, which is gaming. Now in terms of gaming on the device, I'm rating it a 5. There's nothing special about gaming on here, right? The only way I would rate a device higher than a 5 in this category is if it had like dedicated buttons for gaming, or it had like features that's focused around gaming. Let's be very clear, okay? This device is not focused on the gaming audience. It's not for the gaming client. This device is for photographers and cinematographers. It's for those enthusiasts. So in that area, it scores a respectable 5. It's average. The next category is battery performance. In this area, this device actually performed really well. I was really happy with this performance. I charged it to 100%. I'll do a quick time lapse for you here now. So just under a couple hours, I managed to get 100% out of the battery. And that's using a standard charger, no super fast chargers or anything like that. So it was actually really good in terms of how fast it charged. And it lasted me a very long time. Just an FYI and a PSA. Fast chargers are not good for your phone's battery. So if you can, avoid using them because your battery will last a lot longer if you're not using a fast charger. If you want to know why, then leave me a comment and I'll explain it. But the battery performed really well. I was listening to Spotify on my drives. I was able to watch some video content, use the sat nav, and even take a few pictures while I was out. So I managed to get about a day and a half out of it without it needing a charge again. So battery performance really good, and I'm rating it a 9. Moving on to the main function and category of this phone, which is the camera. Now the camera on this device is amazing. You get such great pictures, such great videos, and not only that, you get such great control. Let's move it back into frame. So if you click up here, you can actually go into auto mode, which allows you to actually control so many different aspects of your camera, from the white balance to autofocus to how the picture's even captured. You can get raw images out of this. It's going to be very hard to focus. Focus, camera, focus. Very hard to focus. But you can get raw images out from the actual camera, which is amazing. It's great. And you've got so many areas where you can customize how you want your content to be captured, from its aspect ratio to the depth of field to the lens it's using. You can change from a 25mm to a 50mm. For people that aren't into their photography and cameras, this will mean nothing to you. But for people that are into their photography and are into their videography, this will mean a lot. It would mean that you're able to capture an array of depth of fields from the same position, from the same standing in one position. It's a great camera. However, it would be wrong of me if I didn't put a disclaimer out there to say that it is one of the most annoying cameras I've ever used in my life. And that's because, yes, it's great having access to all these functionalities, but I want a camera that I'm able to just point, shoot, and get great results. I want to be able to bokeh an image, or get that depth of field in an image without having to manually go into here and then getting that. I want to be able to do a portrait picture without having it to go through manual setups and manual settings. Yes, it's great that I get the options and the ability to fully customize how I want to take a picture and the quality that it comes out in, but I want a simpler process, right? I want a much simpler process. This, for a phone, is too much. That being said, I will appreciate the technology, the innovation that's gone into doing this and making this, and I'm gonna rate it a 9. But if you're someone that just wants to point and shoot, take a great picture, this is not the device for you. You'll get the same image quality from this for a point and shoot on basic mode that you would do on the Samsung Fold, or even any of the other Samsungs, Huawei's, whatever phone that's priced in a similar range and offers the same camera pixel density. You'll get the same quality of image. It's only when you go into the pro mode or the auto mode on here and actually play around with the settings do you get something outstanding, right? It's a lot of effort to get something that most likely is going to end up and staying in your camera roll. So my honest advice with this device is it's great. However, it can become a bit tedious when it comes to taking amazing pictures. Next category is the wow factor. Now, into the wow factor, I'm going to rate this a 3 because when you first get the device, you see the camera array at the back and you see that it's got a Zeiss lens and everything, and you get really excited if you're a photographer or a videographer because you see a Zeiss lens, and that means something in that industry. However, that wow factor fades away really quickly once you realize the effort it is to use this phone, right? It's a great phone, but to have all that functionality with that camera takes away some of that wow factor feeling, right? You're going to be able to capture that amazing picture and show it. However, cameras have got so advanced in this current day and age. I feel like this has just been made just to show by Sony, oh, look what we can do. It's not needed, and I don't think majority of people are even going to want it. The wow factor just does go away after a while. I was using this for about 2 weeks, and honestly, I'm looking forward to going back to this device. I don't even rate this device highly. I take that long sigh because I've cussed this device out quite a lot for the amount it costs and for what it is. In terms of price, when this phone first came out, it was over £1,000, and honestly, I couldn't say to anyone, being a tech enthusiast, to say to anyone that is even a photography enthusiast, a videographer, I could not honestly say to them, yes, go buy this device, because I could not justify telling someone to spend over £1,000 on a phone that has, yes, a great camera, but the clunkiness of using it. I could not advise anyone. Currently, it's on the used market for just under £700. Even then, I'm a bit hesitant at advising people to get it because there are other phones out there that will offer similar photography quality, not as advanced, however will probably offer you a better experience using it. So for that reason, I'm going to give it an average 5, because for under £700 for what you get, you're getting a great camera, you're getting the basic functionalities of a phone, which every phone has, but you get a great camera with it, which is the only reason I'm giving it the 5. If it didn't have this great camera on it, then I'd be rating it a lot lower. Like some of the other Xperias out there, I just don't see the point and what's special about those devices. Phones need to be a bit unique now. They need to be a bit special. They need to offer the user something special. at the same time keeping it simple, because the user nowadays, they don't go into the depth that these phones are offering. Sony's done a great job at giving you a high quality camera with so much adjustability. However, the general public will not be utilizing what's available. So for that reason, I'm rating it a 5. And if you go back and tally everything up, that gives a total score for the Sony Xperia Pro a score of 69. So it's above average, and the only people I can actually recommend this device to are photographers and videographers. If you're not one of those two people, then I honestly have to say to you, do not buy this device. But if you are one of those people, then by all means give it a go, try it out. You might like it, but just make sure you do purchase it from a company that offers you a return policy, just in case you don't enjoy your experience. Personally, for me, I'm not fully enjoying it, so I will be giving it back to Sony and going back to my Samsung Fold, which is my daily normally. And yeah, so that is my full review on the Sony Xperia. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you have, please hit that follow button, and I'll catch you on the next video.